I am from the UK. I have been in the UK for 60 years. I came from Kenya while I was very young. And from the early years, 60s, 70s, 80s, we faced a lot of discrimination. First, it was our ethnic discrimination. We were called Pakistanis, Indians, Jamaicans. And then now, over the last 15 years, Islamophobia has greatly increased. So there is a great rise of Islamophobia. So I faced both kinds of discriminations. But also positive effects are that my teachers, Professor Khurshid Ahmed and many others, they started to bring communities together. They started the interfaith work way back in the mid 70s or later, slightly later. And we were able to do things nationally and also in many, many localities. Now, we are living in a very globalized world. What happens in Pakistan, Bangladesh, the East affects the West, and what happens in the West affects people in the East. So we are all affected by each other. We share the same world. So if we do not learn to live as human beings, then obviously everybody will live in misery. So the oppressors will also not find peace, and those who are oppressed will not find peace. So it's very important that we come together in a dialogue, develop understanding. And I feel religion is very powerful. Religion has a power to bring people together because in religion, people we share of different faiths, we share many values. We all have common values like justice. We want peace and harmony. We believe that empathy is important, compassion, respect, human dignity, all these things. There are many, many things we share together. So these values, if we come together, have this understanding, we can help to build a better world, not only for ourselves, but for our future generations. Now, the points which I want to make, and these have been developed from all the contributors today, it has stimulated my thinking. So my key points is this, that those who are religious leaders and religious scholars, we do need to have a dialogue, but we need to move beyond the dialogue. Dialogue is a very important starting point which helps us to come together. We share our understandings, we look at our common values and things like that. But if we do not move beyond the dialogue, then interfaith will not have much impact. And I want to focus on Dr. Masood's ideas which he presented. Here in the UK, I will share some experiences, but number one main point I want to make is from dialogue to organizing. What do I mean by that? That religious people of different faith communities must come together and organize themselves. Otherwise, dialogue will remain dialogue. By organizing means we identify our collective common problems and issues and see how together we can work to address those issues to make the world a better place. So I would like to share with you 4 areas where we can take action together by organizing ourselves. Number one, we must exert influence on policy and legislation. The values which we hold, justice, cooperation, peace, these values must guide policy and legislation, and not the political interest of political parties and individuals and companies. All these multinational companies must not further their interest at the destruction of humanity. Religious values, we have many values in common. We must make sure that there is a legal framework which supports respect between people, cohesion between people, and acknowledges diversity and inclusion. So law should help to develop, to ensure respect and inclusion and freedom and prevent discrimination of all kinds. It is, between religion and color and so on. So I feel that will be a great contribution. We can bring about a lot of change. But that will not happen if we do not organize ourselves and exert that influence together. Second is we must exert influence to change the education system. Unfortunately, the contributions of many religions is not taught in the main curriculum. This is why children growing up maybe only knows the contribution of the West, may only know the contribution of those who are in power, but they do not know the contribution of all religions and great civilizations of the past. To give you an example, in the UK, we learn history, what the Romans did, what the Greek did, and then there's a 1,000-year gap, and we come to the Industrial Revolution. What happened in those 1,000 years? The great contribution of the Muslim civilization and the contribution of Chinese and other Indian great civilization is not covered. So children growing up don't know what other civilizations have contributed. This is why they will grow up looking down on these other civilizations. So decolonizing knowledge and trying to bring forward perspectives from different civilizations and religions and communities, I feel that change in curriculum will nurture a new generation of people who have a greater understanding of each other and be able to work as global citizens and be able to cooperate with each other. The third point is where we organize ourselves to exert influence on the mainstream media. Media can bring people together and media can divide people. And Dr. Mary gave this example of what happened in the UK. And I know it's happening in many countries of the world where media, a little bit of negative news can turn people into violence. So the media hinted that it was a Muslim who murdered somebody, and then all these far-right people were mobilized and they took action against Muslim in Muslim areas and so on. Media needs to be educated. Media needs to be controlled. Media must not report biased news. Media must, try to work for a better cohesive society where where media tries to bring respect. Again, people of faith, by organizing, they can do this. And finally, people of faith can come together and organize themselves and take actions to improve their environment. And I will give you an example from our lives here in UK. For last 15-20 years, the work of the Citizens UK, I don't know if you have heard of that. They believe in bringing faith communities together, not to discuss religion, not to discuss but to bring faith communities together to act and take action on some of our common problems which we are facing. And I've worked with Sikhs and Hindus and Buddhists and Christians, and really we can report to you many wonderful results which have come as a result of this. So as an example, in the UK, the government came up with the minimum wage, that all companies must give a minimum wage. But this minimum wage was not enough for people to survive with dignity. So what we did is in London, Telco Citizens UK, they mobilized the communities, different faith communities, and they went to meet large companies, multinational companies working in London. And they tried to intellectually convince them that if you move beyond minimum wage to a fair wage, these people will not only be able to live in dignity, your employees, they'll be able to spend more, and eventually the money will come back to you. And many companies became convinced of this, and they became, they put a label on their website that we champion fair wage. There was examples where there was a company breaking these car batteries and there was pollution everywhere, and mothers were scared to send their children to play in those areas because a number of cats and rats, they died because of this lead poisoning. Again, we came together, people of different faiths, we took action, We mobilized people, the media, and we went to the local authority, and the local authority was forced to act. Otherwise, they wouldn't listen to us individually. But when we came together and organized ourselves, exerted our power and influence, we were able to do things. So I think dialogue is very important. But religious people, they have many values. We need to come together. We need to organize at national level, at local levels, and try to influence policy, the media, the curriculum, and take action to improve our everyday problems. You will see the results of that. It does require a lot of effort, a lot of understanding. Just imagine people who have little understanding of each other coming together and working together. It does take a lot of work. So I feel that this conference has played a very important role in creating the awarenesses amongst the intellectuals. I feel from this something will come out, and that we are able to identify areas where we can cooperate at national level, global level, and we are able to shape the world into a better world for our future generations. Yeah, we can address poverty, we can address climate issues, we can address so many things. Religion is the great motivating factor, and religion is quite powerful in bringing humans together. Dr. Masood mentioned a point, and my teacher, Ustad Khurumurad, mentioned this point as well, that if we go back to the teachings of Musa alayhis salam, Moses, and Jesus, and Muhammad, and we also believe that God sent prophets to other nations, maybe Buddhist and other. If we go back to the original teaching, we can unite almost all of humanity, because all the people different, they follow these great 4 or 5 people. And if we go back to the original teachings, we can, bring people together to unite and help to build a better world. So thank you very much. And thank you for the panel for all the ideas. It was really great to join you and learn from all of you. Thank you.